Reading for Wildlife. Written and illustrated by Zella, a project by Zella and friends. An elephant for breakfast.
Chapter 11. The Empty House. Yoo-hoo! Mother called into the dark, empty house. Anybody at home? Number 52 Paradise Road appeared deserted. She put the basket on the kitchen table. As she lit the candle, there were gentle steps behind her. There was Uncle Cosmo. In the dim candlelight, Mother thought he looked like a haunted man. She gave him a hug. "Oh, Cosmo, are you okay?" "Better than to be expected, I suppose, but you run a great risk of bringing me this basket of food, although I do appreciate it, thank you." "Don't be silly," said Mother. "It wasn't a problem. I only had to cross the road and walk down the street a little way." Uncle Cosmo whispered, "I think I'm being followed. If I'm right, these men are very dangerous. I left Africa in such a hurry, a gun being pointed at me. I've never been more frightened in my life. I was in a car and about to leave for work that day. I was saying goodbye to my secretary Doris when, to my surprise, she gave me a brown envelope. She was explaining that she had booked an open ticket to London. She had made a travel pack with cash, passport, and itinerary. She warned me that I was in grave danger." She was in the middle of saying that she had overheard two men talking when she was interrupted. A gunman seemed to appear out of nowhere. And then there was another from the other direction of the factory, and she screamed, and then she yelled, "Drive!" I drove to the airport and arrived just in time to catch a plane for London. I was lucky. But I was worried about Doris. I don't know if it's the right thing to run. Perhaps I should have stayed. Uncle Cosmo paused and seemed to reflect on his actions. Then he continued. "When I arrived here, I tried to ring her, and she seemed okay, but then the line was cut off before we could speak properly. I think her awful uncle might have arrived, Sir Reginald Ashurst. I find him pompous. But he redeems himself by being entirely devoted to Doris. I will try her again later when he is not around. I've heard of these things happening in Kenya, but I never thought it would happen to me. And in my own factory?" Mother said, "Do you think they want the ivory?" "Ivory?" he shouted with surprise. Then he added in a low voice, "What ivory do you mean, Alicia?" "The ivory tusks hidden in the chocolate bars you sent," said Mother. "What do you mean?" asked Uncle Cosmo. Mother explained. "When the children first opened your chest, no one could work out what it was. Then Lucky helped us to guess that it was the most whopping chocolate bars ever." "Yes, they were an incredible size," smiled Uncle Cosmo. "I wanted to send them the biggest chocolate bars in the world." "Yes, they were a marvel," said Mother. "But there was something else inside the chocolate. At first we all thought it was an exotic nut. But as we chopped into it, the nut grew bigger. And once we had carved off a large quantity of chocolate, we found a white tusk in the middle of it." "But I sent only chocolate. I sell cocoa and coffee," said Uncle Cosmo, appalled. "I don't sell ivory." "I know," said Mother. "Who could have done this?" asked Uncle Cosmo, almost to himself. Then he seemed to answer his own question. "I just don't know." He looked at Mother and asked, "And why would anyone do it?" "I think we both know why," said Mother. "There's a lot of money in ivory." "Yes," said Uncle Cosmo. I have heard such rumors." "Perhaps it could be someone in your factory," asked Mother. "Who made the chocolate bars for you?" "In my factory, but I know them like a family. We all worked hard. I don't think it could be anyone in my factory." "It must be hard to believe," said Mother, "but someone in your factory must know how this ivory was hidden in the chocolate." Uncle Cosmo looked upset. Mother put her arm on his shoulder and continued, "We are all just glad you are safe and well. Are you sure you don't want to come to our house? We could make you much more comfortable." "Alicia, that's very kind, but I'm safer here." "And you're safer if I'm here. Whoever did this is very determined, but at least now I know what they were after." "Yes," said Mother, remembering. "We've had a visit from two men who claimed to be policemen, but they gave the children a card, and it had your number on it." Uncle Cosmo's eyebrows flew upwards with surprise. "The factory number? And what did they look like? And where are they now?" "They left and walked down the street in this direction." "I don't know what they look like. Only the children were at home," said Mother. Uncle Cosmo looked ashen. "I thought I was to be followed. But I didn't know they were so close. If only I knew what they looked like. Alicia, please don't call the police just yet. I would like a little time to try and figure out who is behind this. If I don't work this out first, I fear that many people would be unfairly implicated. Justice can be very rough sometimes in Kenya. It is not necessarily the person holding the gun who is directing the action. Oh dear, she said, concerned. Hopefully we can solve this together. Sleep well, Cosmo. We'll come and see you in the morning. Mother gave him a hug and left. As she walked down the garden path, she stepped carefully over the trailing brambles, but did not see the two men watching her from the shadows beyond the path.
With enormous thanks to Pinky Lang. Here is how you can help. Share the story. Adopt an animal from afar. Visit when you can. Educate yourself. Donate to a conservation charity. To find out more about Reading for Wildlife, visit zellahunter.com or at Lady Zella Books, or follow the Reading for Wildlife YouTube channel.